Namaskar my friends, and today I'm back here with another Transformers review. And for some reason, if you find my voice a little weird, if I'm sounding a little low, it's because I am really under the weather. So please bear with me, and I hope I can make this review experience a good one for you guys. But having said that, we have finally received Transformers Studio Series 1986 Transformers the movie Ultra Magnus. Yes, that's a mouthful, and you can understand by my voice that my excitement levels are at an all-time high right now. I've been waiting for this guy for quite some time, and I am so happy to finally receive him. So let us first have a look at the box. Let's not waste time. This is what the front of the box looks like, and this is what the side of the box looks like here with the Ultra Magnus artwork going on right there. Yeah, this box is a little too big for my review station. I have a small review station, so there's nothing much that I can do there. And this is basically the back of the box, and here it basically says that he takes about 43 steps to get from robot mode to alt mode, and then vice versa. Here's another shot of Ultra Magnus Studio Series 86 written right there. This is the top of the box going on right there. This is the bottom of the box. So now let us have a look at a little bit of an unboxing. Now before I begin the review, there's one thing I've learned about this particular toy, this particular figure, robot, transformer, is that he's very versatile, and by versatility I mean the playability. And we'll get to that in just a second. First, let us have a look at some of the accessories that he comes with. Ultra Magnus does come with quite a few accessories. He does come with these two blasters, and this is the more traditional looking blaster, and this is the add-on, I think. Please correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong, but I think this is the more traditional looking blaster. But it does come with these two blasters, very nicely molded, pretty nicely painted as well. I quite like the way these look. And so it does come with a couple of rocket launchers, or sort of missile launchers, and these go onto the side of his shoulders, and that's pretty easy to install. You see there's a slot right there, one pegs in there, and the other one pegs in there, right into that slot, and you kind of have that G1 looking Ultra Magnus look going on right there. So we'll get to Ultra Magnus in just a second. We also get these blast effects, and I think, now I don't own the figure, I don't own Rodimus Prime or Jetfire from the Siege line, but I think these come with them as well, right? So these are basically blast effects or fire effects, and you could just, sort of mix and match your, fire effect, and you could do things if you want. Very handy if you're doing toy photography, very handy if you want to display your figures in a certain way. So yeah, you do get that. That's pretty cool. And you also get a couple of extra blast effects which you can use with your guns or with the blasters right there. Alright, you basically get that as well. You also can use it with this gun as well, with the smaller one. So yeah, you could totally do that. Or if you're feeling a little more adventurous, you could actually do that as well. You could totally do that. It's all on you how you want to do it. You could also at the same time sort of show that the one of the missiles leaving the missile launcher. You could so do that. So you could take one of these blast effects, break it up, and you could totally do that as well. So that looks pretty cool, doesn't it? So there you go. You could, like I said, this is a very versatile figure. The playability is very high, and you can do all kinds of things. And there are a couple of gimmicks as well, both in robot mode and vehicle mode. In case you want to store the weapons, you absolutely can. You do get weapon storage, so you could have the smaller. So there's a slot right there. It's a peg right there. You could peg that in, I suppose. And there's a slot right here on his butt flap right there, and you could definitely peg this gun in there as well if you want. Totally do that. So yeah, there we go. These antennas right here, this is all a part of his head. Now these basically come detached, so you gotta attach them and just make sure that the elongated part comes in at the front. And yeah, he could definitely hold his weapons pretty well. So yeah, he could definitely do that. He could hold the other gun in this hand as well. So yeah, you could definitely have him hold both his blasters. And here we have Ultra Magnus in all his glory. Now, if you're a fan of the 1986 movie, or if you're a fan of Ultra Magnus, this is the piece to get. This truly is a work of art. It really is. Amazing work by Takara Tomy and Hasbro, and I am loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. I completely geeked out when I got him out of the packaging. I was playing around with him, posing him around, transformed him a couple of times. The joints look good so far. But having said that, this guy has his share of issues, which I will be talking about. But first, let's have a look at the aesthetics. Let's have a look at that face, and look at that. That screams Ultra Magnus right there. That screams the 1986 movie Ultra Magnus. And great job here by Hasbro and Takara Tomy. Excellent work. It just looks amazing. The light piping looks amazing. If I can just put my finger at the back of his head, you see how strong that light piping is right there. That looks fantastic. Very nice. And man, this is Ultra Magnus, man, and he's straight away jumped out of the cartoon, out of the movie. That's Ultra Magnus. Beautiful figure. Let's have a look at some of the aesthetics. And he's a chunky boy. I'll tell you. I'll give you that. He is one chunky bot. Well built. And yeah, he's a big boy. He's a big boy. And yeah, those of you who are Ultra Magnus fans know this about him. He's a big boy. He's always been a big boy. No hollow parts. Very nicely designed. There's a reason why Hasbro took their time. Hasbro and Takara Tomy took their time in getting this to us, and I'm so happy that they've done a pretty decent job. Nice paint on the wheels there. Looks very good. A lot of details here on the body as well. And a lot of these tech Cybertronian details on his body right there, and look at the details right there. Very nice, very clean Autobot logo going on right there. And of course, Ultra Magnus would not be Ultra Magnus without those gigantic shoulders. And yeah, those look very good, very G1 accurate Ultra Magnus, and I am loving. This is probably one of the best Ultra Magnus figures that Hasbro and Takara Tomy have produced. There's one more. The Combiner was Ultra Magnus, I think that is, and that is very good. But this one sort of blows everything out of the park. Every other version out of the park. Arguably the best Ultra Magnus. I know I just said one of the best, but I think this is arguably the best Ultra Magnus that they have produced. Beautiful figure. Very nice. Now, I did mention about the gimmicks that this figure has, right? And this is really cool. So, remember the scene when Ultra Magnus sort of puts the matrix of leadership in his chest once Optimus hands it over to him in the movie? Well, they actually have incorporated something very similar here, and this is very cool. So all you got to do is just got to pull this out, and there you go. Boom. There's these doors right here, these panels, not doors, these panels are actually spring-loaded, and it actually has the matrix of leadership housed in it, and you can actually get this out if you want. If you like, you could totally get this out. There we go. Just keep Ultra Magnus to the side without the matrix for just a second. Just want to show you guys what this looks like, and yeah, that's what the matrix of leadership looks like. Very nice work. Again, love it. Very cool. And this is housed in Ultra Magnus' chest, and this does not create a problem when we are transforming him. So I absolutely love the fact that they actually incorporated this into the figure, and I'm so happy that they did, because this is so nostalgic for most of us. and especially for the ones who actually watched the movie in the cinema hall back then, in the theaters back then. So yeah, that is something which is very, very cool. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And of course, these missiles, rockets, as I've already shown you, these come off as well. So yeah, you could definitely use that in some toy photography project if you like. Now, another interesting gimmick that this figure has is this is kind of fun, because you can sort of recreate certain scenes if you are planning to photograph him, And the scene is when Galvatron sort of blows him up into pieces, and then the Junkions actually rebuild him, and you can actually do, recreate that scene if you'd like. So what you got to do is just gently pull this arm backwards, and you see there is a spring-loaded switch right there, right? Now, this is not a switch, it's basically a pushback spring-loaded mechanism, and if you can just pull this back, right, and then push the arm a little forward, and there you go. So Ultra Magnus can actually now be blown away into pieces by Galvatron. So you could do this to this arm, you could do the same thing to this arm here as well. You can do the same thing to the leg as well, so there's the same switch right here, but just be careful, because you don't want to damage the mushroom peg here, so just be a little careful when you're doing that, but you could definitely do that. I'm not going to be trying this on my copy. I already showed you a little demonstration, but that's all that I'm going to do. I'm not going to get too adventurous, but you can definitely do that if you'd like. To get that back in there, all you got to do is, for some of you who do not know, it's pretty simple. Just make sure you push. Just there we go. So yeah, just kind of frictions in there. So yeah, very similar to the Combiner Wars spring-loaded switch or mechanism, whatever you call it. Now let's have a look at the articulation of this figure, and the head here looks up a lot actually, and this is mainly because of transformation. He does look down, but unfortunately, because of an optical illusion, he basically looks right into his chest. So yeah, there's nothing much that Hasbro or Takara could have done about that. No attitude, a little bit, not much, and his head does turn from side to side, which is pretty good. Now here is the issue I have. Now the shoulders basically are on this spin, right? The shoulder range is very, very good, but they're basically using this pin right here. And over time, now since Ultra Magnus has the heaviest shoulders, both in the animated cartoon movie as well as in the figure, you see what happened right there? These will get loose over time, and this is something that's really bothering me. It's just a gentle touch, and yeah, the arm completely falls. Same with this one, just a gentle touch and it goes down just like that. So this is something that you all just need to be mindful about when you're getting him. So yeah, just letting you know. So we do get an elbow bend here of 90 degrees, which is pretty good. No worries there. We do get a very nice bicep swivel as well. Now another problem that this figure has is that, now let's say you want to rotate his arms, so you got to hold on to this and then rotate it because it's on a ratchet joint, right? But if you are careless and just sort of try to rotate it, it sort of de-transforms or sort of mistransforms right there. So you just got to be careful that when you're rotating his arm, you make sure that you hold on to this joint and then you rotate it. Now what Hasbro and Takara Tomy should have done is they should have given us some sort of a locking mechanism which would have made things a little easier, because sometimes we are not paying attention, we try to rotate the arm and this happened, and then again we got to go back and then sort of hold on to this joint and then sort of rotate his arm. So that is something that you might just want to take care of. Another issue that I feel is, now if you pull this arm a little too much, you see this little slot right here, this sort of holds the shoulders together, right? and this kind of gives up very easily. So this is something that you need to take care of when you're articulating him. Just be careful when you're posing him around, because these won't break, but it's just kind of annoying when it happens. But these pin joints on the shoulders, they are very, very bothersome. Now let us have a look at his hand. His hand does have a little rotation right there. It's very tight on my copy. He does have articulated fingers, which is very cool. These three articulate together. It's only the I think this is the index finger. This is the only one that individually articulates, and the rest, everything sort of articulate together. The thumb does not articulate, but yeah, this is a very, very nice touch here by both Hasbro and Takara Tomy. Now, having said that, of course, we do not get any app crunch, we don't get any of that, but we do get, which is very nice, we do get a nice waist rotation as well. If we just flip this part right here, we can actually have the legs kick to the side. You can actually do the splits, and he does the splits better than any other Spider-Man figure, which is weird. And he can kick forward if you sort of flip this as well, so he does kick forward a little bit more, I suppose. We do get about 90 degrees, and his legs do go back as well, which is very, very nice as well. He does get a single joint knee, which is very cool. That's pretty good. And he does get a nice ankle pivot, although the range isn't much. Now this is another issue, that this will go loose over time. So yeah, very nice articulation, considering the size of this figure. But man, he does have his problems as well, especially with certain joints which will go loose over time. So now let us have a look at his transformation. Let's get started. this right here is Ultra Magnus in his vehicle mode, his truck mode, his alt mode, and this is a fantastic truck mode. Very animation accurate. I love this truck mode. It's really magnificent, and I'm absolutely geeking out here. It's an amazing looking piece. Nothing much to add here. It's just fantastic looking piece. So let's have a look at some of the features of the truck. So the first thing that we actually get here is this trailer. Now this trailer has been made in such a way that it can only work with this truck, right? You can see that there is actually a slot right there for the truck to peg in. Now this will not work with Optimus Prime or any other bot, but it will only work with Ultra Magnus. So that is something that you just need to take note of. Now when I was transforming him, at least on my copy, this part just kept on falling out. Now I know it's supposed to do that. It has been designed that way so that you can sort of hitch the trailer and then unhitch it. But there are times when it's very annoying when you're trying to transform him, and yeah, this part rather actually keeps falling off. So yeah, this is something to take note of. Not a deal breaker again. It has been designed in such a way, but yeah, just a little annoying sometimes when you're doing it. But yeah, overall the transformation is very cool. I loved it. It has got a certain level of sophistication to it, and I think as fans you all will really enjoy once you start transforming him. There are a couple of great features added to this truck mode. So if you get these two parts down right here, this sort of becomes a ramp, right? So you could actually have Sunstreaker sort of get onto the platform here, and yeah, Ultra Magnus can drive away with that. But here's an interesting thing. If you can just untap these arms, and as soon as you do that, you can just get the arms down a little bit, and it kind of forms a ramp which can help your other Autobots sort of go onto the top here, and yeah, they can be carried by Ultra Magnus, which is really cool. I really like this feature, and it just gives so much of playability. And like I've been saying, just gives so much of versatility to the toy. And as a collector, you'll be so satisfied to actually have this in your collection. So Ultra Magnus can actually accommodate 2 deluxe class bots in their vehicle mode and 1 Voyager class bot, and yeah, he can definitely carry them off if they are injured or if they need repairs. And yeah, there we go. And he does roll pretty well, just that on my table here the surface is not very smooth, hence the wheels aren't quite rolling. But yeah, I've already tried him on other surfaces, so yeah, he does roll really well, so no problem. Very smooth there, no problems at all. Some scale comparisons here, and this is how he scales with the 86 movie Ironhide and the 86 movie Hot Rod right there. And yeah, that scaling looks absolutely perfect. Very nice. And here he is with Sweep and Galvatron. So there we go, that's the height comparison between those two, and again, very nice scaling going on here. Very nice. And here he is with MDLS Optimus Prime and 1986 Studio Series Wreck-Gar, and yeah, those three look very good together. And here he is with an average sized Marvel Legends Spider-Man. Now let us go on to my final thoughts. So as far as my final thoughts are concerned, like I mentioned earlier, this is very much a work of art. This is a beautiful figure, and the way he has been reproduced in 3D form, it just seems that he has just jumped out of our TV screens from the 1986 Transformers movie. However, he does have his share of issues, and this is something you need to keep in mind when you're getting him to add to your collection. But having said that, like I've mentioned, he is a very versatile figure. The playability is very nice, especially the fact that you could blow him up and sort of recreate those scenes in toy photography. So that is something which is very welcome. And more importantly, the playability in his vehicle mode, that is something which really adds so much more value to this figure. Well, if you've liked that review, then do give us a like, comment, share, and subscribe. And of course, we'll have more reviews coming up for you. Till then, please take very good care of yourselves. Please take very good care of your families. Enjoy your collections, and always remember, till all are one. Thank you so much for joining us today.